Okay, guys, I guess I'm live. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm trying StreamYard. I'm trying a live stream. So we'll see how this goes. As you can see, I am without Adam today. He's got a lot of things going on. Sorry we've been away for so long. It has been a while. I was on vacation in Florida. I got to go back to Batu, got to go to Galaxy's Edge, got myself a new lightsaber. I want to show you guys. This is the Cal Kestis lightsaber from Jedi Fallen Order, which is pretty sweet. As you can see, it's got that very same look from the video game. It's got a lot of weight to it. It's very heavy and everything is backwards right now. So I'm like, I keep turning this the wrong way, but this is a pretty awesome saber. Again, very, very heavy, has a lot of weight to it. I'd recommend this one. It's a little top heavy, but I love it. I love me some Cal Kestis. And but yeah, we're going to talk today about Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're going to talk about the entire series a little bit, but then I'm going to talk a lot about the finale and everything. I just want to start by saying I've really enjoyed the whole series overall. I've been a fan. I know there have been some people that are not a fan, which is fine, and there's certainly issues with the show that people might have. If I want to get those out of the way real quick, I will. In the beginning of this series, I did have an issue with the look of the Grand Inquisitor. I got past that pretty quickly, and I enjoyed that. But there were a couple of the chase scenes involving Leia weren't the best, and I think some of the limitations. Hi, Megan. Glad to see you in here. Hope you enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi as much as I did. And yeah, I mean, I think there were some limitations of the volume that we saw in this series. Those were a couple of my only gripes, though. We saw those same limitations with the Book of Boba Fett and some of the action scenes, certain chase scenes, and things like that. I think that it's important to use it for budgetary reasons, and you can do some really great things with it. But I do think we saw some of those limitations in some of the action sequences. But yeah, it was overall, I really enjoyed the series. I think the opening episode, I really enjoyed it. I thought it really set things up very nicely, and we got to see Obi-Wan Kenobi in this state of, kind of like Luke was in The Last Jedi, not in touch with the Force. Kind of, he was, not using the Force, not connecting with the Force. He was kind of shut off from the Force for a bit there, and feeling like they lost the fight. The fight was over. And Megan says that she watched the finale in two parts due to sheer exhaustion from yesterday, and that's understandable. There's a lot in this episode. It was very action packed. It was very heavy. There's a lot of great stuff in it that I'm going to get to in a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed this series. Aside from some minor gripes that I talked about a couple seconds ago, I thought it was really well done. I loved Ewan McGregor being back as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I loved him trying to connect with Qui Gon throughout the whole time, and I was hoping we'd get to see Qui Gon towards the end. And I won't say whether we do or not yet, for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. But if you haven't watched it yet, before you watch this, go back and definitely watch the series, because I will be, talking about some spoilers a little bit. But yeah, I love how Obi-Wan was trying to connect with Qui-Gon, how the mission was really, even though we saw him watching over Luke in the beginning of the series, this was really a story driven by Leia and Leia being captured and being kidnapped and everything. And a large part of the story was also about Reva, which is a character that some fans had issues with. I really enjoyed Reva's character. I enjoyed her arc, especially where we got in like the later episodes with that character and the reasons for what she was doing. I think a lot of times as Star Wars fans, when you're talking about a mini series like this that's 6 parts, sometimes we have the tendency to, we see 1 or 2 episodes and we're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. This isn't, fitting into the continuity or the canon, and why is this happening, and this is violating this thing that happened. And but if you stuck in there and you watched all of them and reserve your judgment till the end, I think it really sits well for me in the canon of Star Wars and the continuity and everything. And I mean, there's a couple minor things maybe. One thing for me was, Leia in A New Hope, when she sends the message to Obi-Wan, she says, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars, and now he desperately needs you, yada yada yada. That kind of made it seem like they didn't have really a relationship or know each other. But other than that, I think it fits pretty nicely into canon and into Star Wars continuity. I don't know what you guys think. You might agree or disagree out there. But yeah, I thought the series got off to a pretty good start with the first episode. A couple episodes maybe weren't as great. Like the show wasn't really blowing me away until we got to like parts 5 and 6. Yeah, and again, I'm going to point out something Megan said here about, definitely an unexpected turn for the show. Like I said, we went into it thinking it would be about Obi-Wan watching over Luke, and it ended up being more about Obi-Wan watching Leia. And yeah, so that was definitely, I didn't see that coming. That was unexpected. But I enjoyed the Leia character. And, let's take a look at, I don't know if I can maybe share. I don't know how to. Oh, there we go. I'm going to share my screen for a second here. Okay. Just give me 1 second here to share my screen. Trying to learn here as I go. Okay, there we go. So just looking at IMDb, looking at the cast a little bit here. Scroll down here. Yeah, Vivian Lyra Blair as Leia Organa. I'm not sure if I correctly, pronounced her name or not, but I thought she did a fantastic job as Leia, and there's a moment in this finale where she, Obi-Wan really points out all these excellent qualities she has, and that these qualities were passed down to her by Padme and by her father, Anakin. And that is the moment when I had tears in my eyes. And I think this young actress really embodies all those qualities Obi-Wan was saying about Leia's character. And, I thought she did a great job. I really enjoyed Moses Ingram as Reva. I thought she did a nice job. It was great seeing Hayden Christensen come back, especially in, I think it was episode 5 in the flashback scene with him, with Obi-Wan training him in their kind of lightsaber duel that they had as a part of the training. I really enjoyed seeing him in action as Anakin there, and really seeing what he had to offer as an actor now. And, I thought the entire cast was great. I thought Indira Varma as Tala was a great character that I enjoyed. James Earl Jones's voice was featured again. I don't know exactly how they did it, and how they were able, but it sounded great. It sounded like Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back, from Return of the Jedi. It sounded better than the Rogue One Vader voice. So I'm sure we'll get more details about exactly how they did that. And, I'm sure they'll do the behind the scenes thing on Disney Plus. But yeah, I really enjoyed the acting performances. Let's take a look at what some people thought about some of these episodes as we look at this here. Let's look at all these episodes and what people thought on IMDb, at least. So part 1 got a 7.5 out of 10. Part 2 was a 7.4, and this was out of about 20,000 people who reviewed this. Part 3, 7.6. Part 4, 6.3. That one was a bit lower. Then we get into part 5 and part 6, and part 5 got an 8.1, and part 6 an 8.6. And I think in parts 5 and 6 we really saw some awesome things that this show was able to do, and what it was able to be. And specifically in part 5, like I said, hey Nicole, welcome So glad you're here as well. Love to hear both of your thoughts on the Obi-Wan finale and the series overall in the chat. Um, but yeah, I just thought I really enjoyed this series. Episode 5, let me talk about that for a little bit, because we got that awesome flashback with Anakin and Obi-Wan dueling each other, and this duel informed the entire episode. It informed the strategies that they each used for the battle that was going on. And I can't remember the name of the planet at this time, but um, Obi-Wan was using strategies he knew about Anakin, things that he knew about Anakin, that Anakin would be aggressive, that he would come right after him. All he would be able to focus on was Obi-Wan. And then Anakin at the same time thinking about knowing Obi-Wan so well that he would sacrifice himself for the people. He would do anything to protect them. He used that in his strategy. I thought that was a great episode 5. And I want to talk a little bit about the first duel between Vader and Obi-Wan. And this it was an interesting duel, because it wasn't what I think we all wanted to see, this big epic duel and Obi-Wan to be at his full power, but he really wasn't yet. He was still unsure about things. He was just connecting to the Force again after maybe 10 years. So it was more of just like a showdown where Obi-Wan kind of lost that one, and he didn't have the upper hand. But then fast forward to part 6, and I thought the duel that we got in the finale was epic. I thought it was fantastic. It was everything I wanted to be. I wanted it to be. And okay, we have a comment from Nicole here that I want to show too about her thoughts. I like the series, but it was a lot of catch-22s for me. I'd like some things, but in the same breath, not like a detail or two in the next moment. Yeah, I can definitely understand that and see where you're coming from on that. And like I said, I wasn't blown away by the series until like the finale and a bit in episode 5 too. So let's just get into the finale now. You've heard my thoughts overall about the series. I did enjoy it. Maybe I enjoyed it more than most. I've really been looking forward to this for a long time, but this finale I thought was fantastic. And it opens with Obi in this situation where he's got to leave Leia. Leia is not happy about this, but he knows that he needs to distract Vader so they can get away. They've been protecting the Jedi, through this thing called, I think it's like the path, or I correct me if I'm wrong on that. He knows they need to be protected. Leia needs to get to where she needs to be, back on Alderaan, because she is a key to the future of the universe, the galaxy. So Obi-Wan knows that Vader will follow him, and that's exactly what happens. And I like when Obi-Wan's distracting Vader and the Star Destroyer. That felt very Star Wars. The Star Destroyer like shooting at his ship, and Vader, walking along the bridge there of the Star Destroyer, like that felt very Star Wars to me. And I loved it. I thought that was great. And then we have this kind of side by side thing going on, where in one part we have Reva going to Tatooine to hunt for Luke, because she knows Luke is somehow important to Anakin. Maybe she even knows that Luke is his son. Maybe she's put together those pieces at this point. And you've got Owen and Beru really holding down the Lars, homestead. And they did a pretty good job fending Reva off. And then simultaneously, you have this battle going on between Obi-Wan and Vader that, again, I thought it was epic. I thought it was great. There was great lightsaber action. There was great use of the Force as well by both of these characters. We see Darth Vader really at his almost probably full power, and he was brutal in it. And Obi-Wan kind of gets buried by all these rocks and everything, and we think that's the end. But then he really taps into the full power of the Force, really connects with the Force, and just gains the upper hand. I love that he again defeats Vader here. And what I was hoping for was for Anakin's face to be revealed. And I loved how they did that. I loved how Obi-Wan's lightsaber kind of took out half of the mask, and we get to see Anakin. And I knew once he saw Anakin, he probably wouldn't be able to destroy him. And he pleads with Anakin, he apologizes to Anakin. This is Obi-Wan's way of getting past this kind of trauma he has, related to, he feels responsible for creating, Darth Vader and failing Anakin. Um, and and so this was Obi-Wan's moment to kind of apologize, and Anakin's basically like, this isn't on you. You didn't create Darth Vader. I did. Basically, I destroyed Anakin. Just like I'm going to destroy you right now. But yeah, Obi-Wan gets out of there, and I loved how they mixed the voices of Hayden Christensen and James Earl Jones. And you could kind of hear both of their voices coming out. I thought that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. Let's see here. What else did I want to talk about? There are so many good things in this episode. Obi-Wan finally goes back, after confronting Vader, goes back to Tatooine, and we see Vader talking to the Emperor, which I thought was great. So Ian McDiarmid did make his appearance as the Emperor and a hologram, and questioning, if Vader's maybe too obsessed with Obi-Wan, and that's distracting him and weakening him. And Vader's like, no, I only serve you. So I don't know if that means Vader's going to kind of stop his search for Obi-Wan, to serve the Emperor fully, or what that means exactly. But yeah, so I thought that was awesome seeing Ian McDiarmid again as the Emperor. And then back on Tatooine, Obi-Wan, gets to the Large Homestead. Reva actually brought Luke back. She has these flashbacks of Anakin, Order 66, and what he became. And I think she was just she didn't want to become that. She didn't want to become Anakin, Vader. She wanted to choose a different path. And, at first I thought Obi-Wan was going to confront her and have to take her out, even though that's not really the Jedi way. So I liked how this went. I liked that Reva chose herself, to not go down that path. And now she's kind of free, just like Obi-Wan is free from the guilt over Anakin and Darth Vader. So I like the way that went, and I really liked how this all ended. I like how Obi-Wan gets to meet Luke, and he says, hello there. The hello there line comes back out. I thought that was perfect. I was waiting for him to say that. And, he gives him I think the T-16 Skyhopper, like the replica of the ship. And him and Owen seem to be on a little bit better terms at that point. And, and then I said, I want to see one more thing. If I see Qui Gon, if I see or hear Qui Gon, then this will be complete for me. And we did get to see that. We get to see him finally showing up, and he said, I was always there. You just weren't ready to see me yet. Obi-Wan wasn't fully connected to the Force. That's why he couldn't see Qui Gon. He couldn't see his master, but now he can. And I thought that was great to finally see Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon in Force Ghost form. I was really hoping for that, and we got it, and I was excited. The last thing I want to talk about is, a little bit before we got that, we got on Alderaan, Leia and Obi-Wan had this interaction, and I thought that was really powerful. Getting to see that, and the thing, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it put me in tears. The things that he told her, the qualities she possessed, because of Padme and Anakin. And we know that she has such a huge role to play in the future of this story, as does Luke, obviously. So I really liked the way this series ended. I enjoyed it overall. I had a few gripes about it, but overall, I would probably give this series, a solid 8 out of 10. I thought the final episode was like almost like a 10 out of 10 for me, probably. I loved the finale. I am hoping and begging that they do not do a second season. I do not want to. I don't want them to do any more. I feel this ended just perfectly. And I think they should stop. I do not, as much as they might want to do another one, I don't think they should. And so please, Lucasfilm, don't do a second season. Just sometimes you have to know where to end things. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want to see more? Do you want to see a second season? I don't. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Again, what did you guys think of this series? What did you think of this finale? Really enjoyed the series. Love the finale. Definitely some places where there could have been some improvements, but yeah, that is my review. And yeah, and just make sure you stay tuned to From a Certain Point of View. Again, hopefully we're back now after a long hiatus, and just be sure to stay tuned for future movie and TV news, reviews, and points of view. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to stay here for a minute just to focus a little bit more on the chat that I've been I've been kind of in the zone here for a minute. So yeah, again, thank you if you're watching and in the chat, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Take care, everybody. Okay, let me